I got one thing real quick. So on Instagram, have you ever gone to the request section where people will send DMs and sometimes it's real, but 95% of the time it's bots? You ever seen that section on your Instagram DMs? I'll show you after the show.
Is it like the hidden section? Like requests and then you go to like hidden?
Yeah, because they think that most of them are bots, but occasionally you go on there and it is somebody that gets through and I don't want to miss.
I hardly ever look at that.
Okay. Well, I'm clearing out my inbox and one of them is a group send out and there's 3 people on there. One was a random name and then it's me and Justin Steele. And I'm just like, so this bot combined me and Justin Steele from the Cubs? I just thought it was weird that you'd want to hear it. I'm like, where does this bot get that? Are they watching a lot of Marquee and they're watching the show there?
It must be.
Weird. How was Padres Brewers?
Padres Brewers was a great game. Walk-off homer by Caleb Durbin. Didn't have that on my bingo card.
Mm-mm.
And honestly, what's funny is right before he did that, I forget who the pitcher was. I said on the air, I didn't even get the sentence finished. Every guy the Padres bring out of their bullpen is really good. Whack, first pitch, homer. I mean, after McGill blew it, Luis Ariz with a huge hit to tie the game. It was a great atmosphere. It was sold out. It was Churio Jersey night. Brewers won. I mean, I love going to Milwaukee. I do. The weather, it was like 70 degrees. It was beautiful. The roof was open. But getting to Milwaukee is not the easiest place in the world to go to.
No.
And I was coming from Vegas. So it was even more difficult.
Do they have direct?
No. Gosh, no.
There's no direct from here either, is there?
There is on Southwest.
Oh, nice.
But,
okay.
You know me. I ain't taking no Southwest.
No, I know.
Not unless it's A1. You're an A1 guy. You're an A1 black car guy.
Even that, I ain't taking Southwest. Sorry. I'm not.
You hit too many dingers for that.
But, oh, well.
I will only absolutely take Southwest if there is no other way for me to get there.
Yep.
But I will say this. I got to see 2 concerts this past week. It was unbelievable. Kenny Chesney, anything in the Sphere is amazing. Kenny Chesney in the Sphere, unbelievable. Then I went to Coldplay, and I am not a Coldplay guy at all. Like, I saw them in concert. Now I'm a fan. It was the best concert I've ever seen.
Best.
Dude, Chris Martin, the lead singer, is one of the most talented human beings I've ever seen in my life. And he was so personable and did some things. At one point, he messed up Yellow, which is like one of their most famous songs. They had the wave going in the stadium. It was in the Raider Stadium. They had the wave going before the show. I mean, it was interactive. Like, they had wristbands where everyone had to hold up their arms at certain times.
Yep.
And do all this stuff. But Chris Martin messed up Yellow, which is like one of their most famous songs, and he stopped. And he's like, before you guys put this on YouTube, I messed up the words, I know. And he started over and sang it again.
That's great.
It was like he brought a random fan on the stage and had him sing with him. Like, I mean, it was. I want to go see him again.
Wow,
that's weird as Yellow.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, I have never liked Coldplay at all. I mean, you know their songs, because you hear them and they're so popular. But until I saw them in person, I had no idea Chris Martin was that talented of a human being. I mean, he played guitar, then he switched to piano. Then he was like Mick Jagger running around for 2 hours nonstop.
They sell out stadiums like it's nothing. So now you know why.
It's unbelievable. It's the best show I've ever seen.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of shows. It's the best show I've ever seen.
That's cool.
And I will fix you.
Yeah, yes, that's right. They fixed me. They changed my life.
I'm putting it on my list.
Yes, go see them. They're in Miami in about a month.
Okay.
So I highly recommend it. And I got to play Shadow Creek, which I also highly recommend.
Yeah, you had a good week.
By
the way, just to extend it also on the Brewers-Padres series, because we're not going to have time for it anywhere else. It was a good series in general, right? The other two, I think, were 1-0 and 2-0.
Yeah.
Friday was 2-0 with Ariz and Machado. Yesterday was just Machado with the homer. It's a good series. Those are pretty good teams. That's fun. Just wanted to give them some love.
Because it was great. It was a great series. The whole series was great. Milwaukee's obviously great.
Yeah.
Murph, you know what, Kratz? Murph was in not a normal Murph mood though. He was
grumpy.
He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't as energetic as he normally is. He was a little more subdued than Murph is.
That's okay. We can all have those days. He's not a big national media guy, so he's probably annoyed that you were there. He's more of a low-key Midwest guy.
Yeah. Feels like paparazzi raiding the place.
As I told him, he said something, and I go, well, you're the manager of the year, Murph, so you can do whatever you want.
True.
He didn't like that comment very much.
No?
No, he's like, former.
No, current. He holds the current
Yeah.
belt.
He's a little pissy. I like that. I like that
Yeah.
from him.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll transition us because this guy played for the Brewers for a while, made his money there. Let's charge. Big bucks given to Corbin Burnes in the offseason, and he's been a total workhorse. And then he goes out with the elbow injury, and we're waiting a few days, and Friday after the show, we find out the news. Tommy John surgery. He's probably going to miss, what, nowadays, 14-ish months? I mean, you're going deep into next year
There's a good
if
chance
you come
he might
back.
miss 26.
Yeah, so now you're looking at 27. And he had been as advertised for a team that was off to a meh start. 11 starts, 2.66 ERA, 156 ERA plus. He was great. Some other guys have been down. Gallen's not as good right now. Brandon Pfaadt's not having a good year.
Mm-hmm.
They've made some mistake signings. That's the first one I said. Gallen's been down.
What happened?
It'll come back. I don't think it's a
When he
permanent thing.
gets traded.
So there we go. This happened a few days ago. Let's spin this forward. Where are we at on the Diamondbacks? They lost the series this weekend to Cincinnati, right? They're 31-34. In 2023, Ken Rosenthal pointed this out. They had a 7-25 stretch, and they made it to the World Series with a rotation of Gallen, Kelly, Pfaadt. Just trying to paint the positives, or are you going to come smack me and say, nope, they're trading away 5 assets at the deadline?
I can't. I don't see it in that division. And with as good as the National League is, I just don't see it. That's the problem. It's not the National League is so loaded. Who are they? They're better than the Giants the way they're playing right now? No. Are they better than the Padres right now? No. Are they better than the Dodgers? There's 3 teams in their division that they're not better than. Then we can even get to the East with the Mets and Phillies.
Maybe.
By the way, we can cook the Braves. Braves cook. Sorry, Claude, producer lady.
We'll get to them.
Braves are cooked, but and then the Cubs, Brewers, even.
Yeah, but the Diamondbacks can get in as
Cardinals.
a wild card.
Okay, I just named 8 teams that are better than them.
You think they're all better than them? You think the Brewers are definitely better than the
right
Diamondbacks?
now? The way the Diamondbacks are playing.
Yeah, but if some starters bounce back, Kratz, do you think that the Diamondbacks are okay, or do you think they're going to be selling? Because they do actually have a lot to sell because they have free agency looming for starters like Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, Josh Naylor for
Suarez.
First base, Gino Suarez. And then, Shelby Miller's actually pitched really well out of the bullpen. They've only had a few guys that have pitched well out of the bullpen, which is part of the problem. But where are you at on them?
It's so hard to see a lineup like this that with Marte back, it's healthy. They're going to bludgeon you to death. And I don't think the starters are as bad as their pitching. Merrill Kelly's Elite One outing. I mean, a no-hitter going the other day. He's down another outing. What AJ said is so hard for me to see them climbing out of this division because they have to play in this division. If they were in the Central, could they hang around longer? Maybe. You have to play such good baseball because of all those teams that you're going to play. Yeah, you got your laughers with the Rockies, but there's 3 teams above you have to play. They're obviously not going to catch those teams. I'm not saying that's what's going to hold them back. They have to catch all the other teams. I think they are better, obviously better than their record. But is Zach Gallen going to turn it around? Because he kind of did this a little bit last year. Is there something he doesn't believe in his stuff? Because his zone percentage change is like one of the highest out-of-zone percentage changes of pitches from last year to this year of any pitcher. Like he's throwing more pitches out of the zone. So when he has to come in the zone, he's getting hurt. And maybe he knows that if he throws in the zone, he's going to get hurt. I don't know what's happening with him, but he has to step up and be the ace. Has to.
All right, I'm going to ask you guys both. I'm looking at the wild card standings right now. 3 get in, right? 3 wild cards. So right now the Padres, Giants, Phillies are in. Are they better than those 3?
I think they could pass the Giants.
Okay, they're 6.5 behind them right now.
It's a lot.
Okay. Then there's the Cardinals, Brewers, Reds ahead of them.
I think they are just as good as any of those teams if they stay intact and get some bounce
so
backs.
they're better. They're going to catch the Phillies or the Giants or the Padres.
I think it's possible for them to catch one of those teams.
Okay. All right.
Most likely the Giants.
And the Nationals are just like a game behind them.
Yeah, they're not in a good spot. They're 31-34, no doubt.
The Rockies are only 20 – or no. The Rockies are only 19 games behind them, so they might catch them too.
Expected,
They've made some
expected
mistakes.
wins. Sorry,
Yeah.
I know expected wins isn't a real thing. It's exactly a 31-34. They're playing exactly what the record is. Like, they're not unlucky. Maybe they're just not that good at pitching right now.
Yeah, they are. Are you going off run differential, by the way, Pythagorean record?
No. I mean,
You're going
whatever
off expected stats, like
expected
projections?
stats. Yeah.
Okay. By the way, they've made some sizable investments in starters over the last several years, and this year they have their highest payroll ever in team
2 years
history,
ago,
$187 million. What did they do 2 years ago? They
went to the World
acquired
Series.
Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah.
But that's different from what I'm saying is it goes back, 6-7 years ago. Madison Bumgarner, huge bust. Jordan Montgomery has been a bust. Eduardo Rodriguez has been a massive bust. That was a brutal signing.
Can't stay healthy.
No. But even when he is, like he's pitched, 11, 12 starts this year. He looks awful.
Mm-hmm.
Except for this weekend, I think it was his best start of the year, like 5 innings, 2 runs. He doesn't look there. And now Corbin, who was great, but it's been a workhorse. And
the one that surprises me is the Gallon. Like, look, I mean, his StatCast page is blue.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him. He was so good for those few years. I mean, like, ridiculous, like talking Cy Young good.
Yep. I thought he'd have it this year,
I think he's going to bounce back.
I thought he'd have it this year.
When he gets traded?
Yeah, if he gets traded, that would help things, wouldn't it?
It's a bad division. It's a bad league this year. If he were in the American League, I could say, all right, I could see him making a run. But in the National League, there's just too many good teams. The Giants' pitching is so good that I just don't know if they're going to fall apart. I know they don't score runs, but the Giants, they always seem to walk off at least one opponent in a series. Sometimes 2. Sometimes it's the craziest. The one, remember the infield park bunt for a Little League home run they had, the one with Ramos, and then they had the Chapman, the wild pitch this weekend. It's like something with the Giants when they are right. Maybe it's Buster Posey. Buster Posey has pixie dust or fairy dust he puts on the field because when Buster Posey was playing, they did the same thing. It was like always a weird walk-off. Well, they just seem to do it. You look at their team, you're like, how? But they figure it out.
All right, so if we're saying the Giants are the exact opposite of the Diamondbacks, AJ, and then I'll ask you, Scott, which team would you rather have? A team that hammers the baseball and the pitching's meh, and a team that pitches the baseball and the hitting's meh? Which would you rather have to win?
For what?
To win a World Series.
The one that pitches and the one that wins the games. I want the one that can win the games, knows how to win the games. I mean, how many teams have we seen that can hammer the baseball? I go back to like the 90s, early 2000 Indians/Guardians. Manny, Tomey, Alomar Brothers, all this, and they didn't win anything. Because they couldn't pitch.
Yeah, but in recent history, you definitely need both. I feel like there's been more
Obviously.
need for both.
No, pitching always wins.
But like
pitching,
the Dodgers could bang last year.
Who?
The Dodgers.
Yeah, but look at their pitching was a lot better than
their bullpen was awesome.
Yes.
The year before, the Rangers, they could swing the bats 2 years ago.
Look at their starting pitching offense. And what their starting pitching did against the Diamondbacks.
Uvalde,
that's why they
Montgomery,
beat them.
Yes. But my thing is, there are some good names. Like Merrill Kelly could be a really good pitcher for this team in a postseason if Gallen bounces back. He's not 38. If Gallen bounces back. Brandon Pfaadt's got good potential. He's been off to a slow start. Just saying. I know I'm the one playing defense here. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs.
I just don't see it this year.
I think it's a good team, but you're right. If they're 5 games out at the trade deadline, they're going to be very popular because there aren't a ton of really sexy names out there, and they could really impact the playoff race.
And they could impact if they have to rebuild quickly because they have enough people to trade to make this go quicker.
Right.
Or fast.
You could get yourself back
faster
in the mix next year. Because, the offense is good.
So I was talking to, obviously I was in Milwaukee this weekend, right? And Corbin Burnes was in Milwaukee before he went to Baltimore. And I was talking to some pitchers, and I said, well, okay, so Corbin's out for the rest of this year. And then I said, he's probably out for next year. And we kind of walked through it. And I was talking to some guys and it had Tommy John and some position players too that had Tommy John. I said, all right, why is it an 18-month process? Because remember, I forget who we had on. They said we could make it quicker we could if we wanted to. And the people I talked to said it's not the fact that there's pain in there. It's just the fact that you just can't, it doesn't feel right. Like it's not a painful thing.
Strength, right?
It's like they just know. They're like, you could probably come back in a year-ish if you pushed it. but it doesn't feel right. They're like, I don't know how to explain it if you've never had it. It just doesn't feel the same, and it takes you that extra 4 or 5 months to kind of feel like I can let it go and it's not going to blow up. And also like just the way it feels coming in. I don't know. I've never had it. Kratz, you've never had it, right? So I don't know. It's just what people were telling me because I was asking, like, why is the rehab not evolved to something faster?
Yep.
I like it. Spencer Strider, I'll let you know.
Matt Hardy. We'll talk about him later, too.
We're going to talk about Spencer Strider. Yeah. His stuff is, like, way down.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later, too. We got a lot to hit. Next up, Max Muncy, ready to go on FT. Hey, new sponsor alert, perfect for summertime. Shorts, trunks, and life's too short to be uncomfortable with the shorts that you're wearing. Kratz, did you bring us any show and tell today?
I mean, I get it. Like, these Johns look cool, but like the way they feel, it's like I don't know. Kind of feel naked when I'm wearing them these summers, but it's all part.
I've got Chubby's Tiger Sharks.
Good. Them Johns are short.
Would you go for the 3-inch inseam?
I forgot mine. That's the 5-inch inseam. Sorry.
I'm the bad partner today. I forgot mine.
That's okay, but you have them.
I have them. Mine have gators on them. Imagine that.
Shocker. Shocker.
I don't know if you should be running the gators right now. I don't know.
Why not?
Baseball.
Basketball champions?
Gator baseball, just give them a couple weeks, okay? Like, it wasn't a great showing.
I mean, stuff happens.
Hoops is fresh.
Yeah, I mean, they're national champions. Only team to ever win 3 in both.
You get a year. So, for a very limited time, shop Chubby's biggest sale of the year. $45 shorts, up to 65% off select gear. Hit up chubbyshorts.com. Grab your favorites before they're gone. And if you miss the sale, you can use the exclusive FT code, FOUL, in lowercase.
And they have longer inseams for us people that are not Scott. Because I definitely got longer ones than you did, Scott.
And I wear short shorts.
Scott.
Also true. Me too.
20% off. Use code FOUL. Support FT. Let them know we sent you when the survey asks who sent you there. Summer's here. Dress like it in Chubbies. Very well done. Nice. There's the QR code on the screen for you as well. If you have questions for Max Muncy, please drop them in the YouTube chat right now. We just went over 40 million views on the YouTube channel, which is at about 210,000 subscribers as well. So thank you to everyone that's been following along on an everyday basis. Thanks to Max. Max has been with us since the start. That is a lot of views. So hopefully he's listening right now. We're going to give a little love to what Max has cooking up as well, which is for a great cause. So we'll be right back. We've got Max Muncy from the Dodgers joining us right now on FT. Max, good to see you. How was the week? I mean, you played, I thought one of the most entertaining series of the year against the Mets, and then a pesky Cardinals club this weekend. How was it?
Yeah, it was a tough week for us. Obviously, the first 2 games in St. Louis didn't really go how we wanted them to go. Did a great job getting guys on base. We just, didn't get the hit to bring them in, and so that was pretty frustrating for us. Broke out a little bit yesterday, and then the games against the Mets. I don't know how many extra inning games we had, but those were, as a fan, those are obviously very entertaining.
First, let me hit on the Cardinals series. I was watching those first 2 games. I think you guys had 19 guys on base before you scored a run. Go ahead.
I was just saying we did a pretty terrible job of getting those guys in.
But you're a team that you feast in those moments. Do you guys sit there? Because you always talk about, like, evaluating in the moment. This guy's got this. We talked about it last time, like one of the best hitting conversation we had on the show. Like, do you talk about it in the moment? Like, hey, this dude is going to a different pitch when we got runners in scoring position. Be aware that he's not throwing that curveball as much until a guy's on second kind of thing. Did you guys run into that, or was it just like, man, unlucky?
I think a little bit of both. We had some bad at bats. We had some at bats that resulted in good contact, just didn't get the result. And we also ran into a little bit, Sonny in particular. His last several starts, the data on the sinker wasn't that great, so he wasn't throwing it a ton. And then against us, he abused us with the sinker, and it was really good. Obviously pitchers are going to have those days, and that's just the unfortunate part of baseball. Is any given day, anyone can find a certain pitch or find their stuff. And you guys know as well as anybody, if the pitcher is on, it's going to be a tough day.
All right, before we get into the Padres, because you think you guys play them 7 of the next 10 games, the little San Diegans down there, your little brother, I want to ask you this question. Would you go 4 for 8 this series, 4 for 8 in St. Louis, I think you were?
4 for 10, maybe, something along those lines.
Oh, okay. Because do you know why you had another great series? Because your good luck charm was there. Did you know that I was in St. Louis this weekend?
No, I kept seeing you on the video board, though, when they were trying to...
That's what I was getting to, the Kershaw thing, right? I know he was mad about it, I do feel bad about that. It had nothing to do with Kersh, and he knows that. We've talked about it, but it was more about Matt Adams, and I wasn't on the roster, so I had nothing to do, and I had all this energy. So I apologize to Kersh, but your good luck charm was in St. Louis. So if you need me, just let me know. I'll send you like a cameo or something, and we can get you hot anytime you need it.
Well, I mean, don't be afraid to make an appearance then, huh?
Wait, how often do they play it, Max?
Oh, they played it like all the time.
Well, they actually played that video before all 3 games. But it's kind of been a reoccurring thing we've seen with some teams. They keep trying to play troll videos like that, and I don't necessarily know that was the case. As AJ was just saying, I think it was more so just celebrating a moment of Cardinals history for them. But when you're the opposing team and that's the video that's popping up, it does feel like they're trolling you. And it does seem to keep happening to Kersh. But at the same time, when you're one of the greatest pitchers of all time and you've been pitching in this league for 18 years as he has, and you've gotten all the accomplishments, then teams want to kind of take advantage of that. And never seems to work out well for them, but they keep doing it.
What did you think of his comments? What Kersh said about how they played that, and then he goes, "Yeah, it's pretty commonplace," or I don't expect anything less from them. Do you think he handled? Because I think he handled it awesome. Because I would have been pissed if they kept playing the one time he ever screwed up, and it just happened to be they kept playing it 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, Kersh handles everything about as well as you would expect. I don't know how mad he was at that video, but I think his comments kind of say it all, and he handled it with grace as he always does, and he just went out there and shoved, and he got seven more strikeouts, got closer to 3,000. That was for us, that was the big takeaway, is that Kersh was back to being Kersh, and it was really fun to watch him go out there and dominate.
He wasn't tipping anymore, Max. I don't know if you know that story, but he used to tip really bad. That's why the Cardinals used to beat up on him all the time. He used to tip, so he fixed it. I'm just kidding. They didn't have. At least if they had something, they sure as hell didn't tell me when I was on the team. So I don't know, but that was a long time ago.
As I said, when you've been pitching for 18 years, I'm sure at some point you've done something, and obviously you cleaned it up really fast. But yeah, when you've been pitching that long, I'm sure someone found something, and you have to make the adjustment.
No, listen, he's the best. Kersh is one of the best. So. Of all time, on and off the field. Hey, let me ask you about the Padres. You guys get to go play the Padres 7 of the next 10 games. Are you guys ready for this? This Padres team?
I think
because they're playing well. I mean, they're ready.
That's kind of how our schedule's been this year. We keep running into these, teams that are in first place, and instead of just playing a 3-game series and then, you get a month and then you play them again, we keep playing, the same teams over and over and over again. We played, the Mets 7 times in 10 days or whatever it was, and it's just it's kind of how our schedule's been this year. We keep playing a team on the road, and then we come back and play them at home, and then you don't get that chance to rest from them, and it'll be a good test for us, and it's a good chance to go out there, and if we play our game and do what we're supposed to do, we can put some distance between us.
Are the Padres the Dodgers' rival? Because obviously the rival's the Giants, but we've seen those like traditional rivalries kind of change. Do you feel like the Padres right now are the Dodgers' rival?
I mean, everyone always wants to bring this question up, and my answer to that is the Padres bring everything that is in a rivalry. But for me, my personal opinion, you only have one rival. And, I don't like when people say you have rivals. I just think if you have a rival, it's your counterpart, and that's always going to be the Giants for the Dodgers at least, and it's always going to be the Red Sox for the Yankees. People always made the argument that the Astros and Yankees had a good rivalry going, and it's like that's true. They were very good teams that were facing each other in the postseason all the time, but you only have one rival. And so for me, like I said, the Padres bring everything that a rivalry brings. The fan bases hate each other. The teams are both good. They're playing well. The environments are hostile. It's everything that you would expect out of a rivalry. And, to me, I would say it's everything you would get out of a rival. But for me, your rival is just one team. You don't have multiple teams as your rival.
Well, it's not a rival unless they win a World Series. That's why that's probably the way the Dodgers fans look at it. That's why they're like, go away, Nats. But all right, so you started wearing glasses recently, and I wore contacts my whole life, so I understand the whole glasses thing. But is that why you got the obstruction call? Because you didn't know where you were on the field, so you were just walking away kind of blindly because you couldn't see. So that's why you didn't know the runner on third was behind you?
No, I mean, I was just wandering aimlessly, and Tripp thought I was in the way and called me for it. I was having a nice thought about in a bat probably, and I was just kind of wandering into space, and Tripp told me I got in the way.
What was that conversation like with him? What did Tripp say?
Well, so my argument was I wasn't close enough to be called for obstruction in that case. I know the rule. Every third baseman knows the rule. You're taught about it, and it's one of those things where if you're right next to the guy where you're directly impeding his path, then yeah, it's obstruction, and they can call you on that, even though it never does get called, but you can get called for that. I felt like I was far enough away from the guy that he could still see what was going on, even if it wasn't directly there, and I wasn't right next to him. He couldn't touch me. He couldn't reach out and touch me. That's always been the interpretation of the rule is if you're close enough where the guy can touch you, then you're obstructing his view. And so I was trying to make the argument that I was far enough away from the bag and the runner that I wasn't in the way. And he said, you had no business being in that area on that play. And, my response to that was, well, what if Freddie cuts the ball and the guy stops halfway? I have to be there to catch the relay throw then. He didn't really have a response to that, but then his next comment was, you made it too intentional to walk in front of the guy. And like I said, I wasn't being intentional about anything. I was kind of daydreaming and just wandering around the field.
Hey, was there a makeup call later in the game when they called it again for you guys? Like, was that like, watch this, I'm going to get 2 of these in one game? There hasn't been one of those called in 25 years.
Well, he did call it on Brett Beatty later in the game, but Teoscar scored, so nothing was made of it, and no one knows about that. But he did call it later in the game, and me and Dino were talking, the next day or the day after, and he brought up a point that Tripp was actually on the playoff crew against the Padres last year, and Dino was yelling at him that Manny was purposely blocking the view and it was obstructing him, and Tripp didn't call it. And so Dino thought that maybe that was why Tripp decided to call it, because we were on him so hard about that in the last year in the postseason.
Hey, tell Dino to quit selling you guys out. I mean, geez, like he's on your team. He's on your team.
Well, I mean, if a guy's holding on to something from a year ago, then it's a little different.
True. Not supposed to do that.
True. Agreed. But okay, so let's get back to the glasses. I know you don't like to talk about it, but I did recently notice you started wearing glasses. What does it change? Because Scott wears glasses. I've worn contacts since I was like 9 years old. I don't think Kratz wears glasses. My son has an eye condition. So I know all about the eye stuff, but talk to me about what the glasses maybe have changed for you.
So when I went to the eye doctor, I've been going to this guy for about 8 or 9 years now. Same guy that Kike goes to, and um, he did the eye test, and without glasses, I have almost 20/12 vision. I have very good vision, but I'm extremely left eye dominant, which as a left-handed hitter, that it makes it a little tricky being your back eye, and it's something that I thought maybe over the last couple of years had gotten maybe a little bit worse. Not that my eyesight had gotten worse, but just maybe that my left eye had been taken over more. I used to wear sunglasses when I hit during day games all the time, and over the last 2-3 years, I wasn't able to because I was seeing so much of the nose piece when I was in the batter's box that I couldn't see the ball because all I could see was the nose piece. And as I'm kind of talking about this with the doctor, he just mentioned something to me that I had some astigmatism in my right eye, and he asked me if I wanted to try something, and so he puts the big giant machine on my head, and it's got the 100 different lenses that are on there, and he's clicking through all of them, and he has me look at the sign and says, all right, so this is with nothing on, can you read it? And I read it to him, I don't miss a letter. And then he says, what does this look like? And he puts a couple lenses in there, and it was like the letter grew like triple in size almost. And I was like, well, yeah, it looks a lot better. And he goes, do you want to try something? I can make you a pair of glasses that's just got a little prescription in your right eye. The left eye will be clear. And my biggest thing is, would this even out my eyes? And he said, yeah, I'll make you a sunglass pair of prescriptions and a clear pair of prescriptions. And you won't notice the nose piece because both eyes will be working properly. And so he sent them to me. It took me about a week and a half to get used to them because I'd never worn anything prescription in my life. So when I put those glasses on, they have the curved lenses. It felt like I was in a fishbowl. Felt like I was walking around drunk. It took me a long time to get used to it. And then when I finally did get used to it, the first game I wore was a day game. And that was the day I hit my first homer this year, which strange coincidence, of course. But after that, I was kind of like, all right, well, I was able to wear sunglasses during the day, so I'm not squinting as hard. Having blue eyes, the sun affects people with lighter eyes. You squint a lot harder, and so that's why I'd always worn sunglasses in the past when I was hitting. And being able to go back to wearing sunglasses during a day game is kind of huge for me to be able to relax my eyes. I don't feel like I'm stressing my eyes as much, and that was one of my biggest things for wanting to try it. And then I started wearing them for the night games, and haven't gone back since.
When you started wearing the glasses in BP, how did BP go? Because I mean, maybe you're different, but anytime somebody tries a new like contact lens, like prescription, or wearing sunglasses, you try it out for at least a few days. Were you raking right away, or were you like you said, like you were drunk? Were you swinging like you were drunk, or playing defense like drunks, like the Yankees?
I was hitting the top of the ball quite a lot first couple of days. A lot of just chopping it right into the ground, which to me, I didn't think was the worst thing in the world. And so when I dialed it back in, all of a sudden the ball was coming out on a line, and I was having good results. I don't know if the glasses are, the sole reason for that, but as you guys know, you don't really take coincidence in baseball. It's as I always say, if you put your left sock on first one day and you rake, you're going to put your left sock on first the next day.
Yeah, because then your left foot is warmer before your right foot is, and your back leg is your left foot. So it's perfect. That's exactly why you're going to start raking. I get it.
Yeah. One day, if you put your shin guard on before your elbow guard one day and it works, you're going to do it. If you put your elbow guard on before your shin guard the next day and that works, you're going to do that. It's just one of those things. We're not superstitious in baseball at all, right?
No, absolutely not. And shin guard, shoot, if you put on Shohei's shin guard, you might just automatically get 2 hits. You'll look up and you're already 2 for 2, and it's the first inning. So maybe that's what you should do. Sometimes I would put the best hitters' bats in my bag and just take them on road trips, so they'd talk to my bats during the road trip. But you don't ever get hits that way.
I've seen that one. I've seen guys walk through the bat rack and they grab the other bats and they just kind of, rub them on their bat, say, all right, I'm taking everyone's hits today. I want these hits. And doesn't usually work, but you never know. It might work that one day.
No, it might work the one day, but let's be honest. Let's be honest. It's not the arrow. It's not the arrow, but it could be the glasses. Can you tell us a little bit about your charity event coming up that you got? I think it's June 12th. So
yeah,
in
it's
a few
this
days.
Thursday. Yes, this Thursday. It's called Uncorked for a Cause, and they're an organization that has done this with a lot of players and teams in the past. They reached out to us through our financial guys about if we wanted to do an event and we could pick a charity that we could help out. At the moment that they reached out, my wife was kind of sitting there talking to me about, hey, this could be a great opportunity to do something to help out all the fire relief efforts in LA. We sat there and watched the pure devastation happen in our community. And, she immediately was like, this could be a chance to raise some money and help out. And so we got back to them and said, yeah, we'd like to, do this event and have all the proceeds go to help fire relief. And they thought that was awesome. So they started setting it up, and, that's how it came about. And for me and Kelly, it was just being in LA for as long as we've been. It's become our home. Our kids have grown up there. It's become our home away from home. And to sit there in the off season and see, like I was saying, the devastation happen to your community, it hits a lot harder. And, you just see all these people without their homes and without ways to move forward, and to have any type of chance to give back to the community that has, helped us grow so much. We had to jump at the opportunity. And so that's how that came about. We're really excited about it on Thursday. We got a lot of awesome stuff. There's going to be an auction for, some wine bottles, some jerseys, bats, balls, all signed by the players. There's some 6-liter wine bottles that have been signed by the team. They're pretty awesome looking. And 100% of the proceeds are going to go to help out the fire relief efforts.
Who on the team is the most philanthropic? Who on the team do you look at and you go, and if it's you don't have to say you, it's fine, but who would be second place? You look at you, because there's always somebody on the team that you're like, dang, going at that guy's always doing I got to do more. I got to do as much as that guy. Maybe not everybody can give as much because not everybody makes the same.
That's actually, it's not me, but that's a tough question. Because we have so many guys that do so many good things. Kirsch, just over the course of his career, has done so much to help out so many different avenues. And, Freddie's given back, Mookie's given back, Will's given back. There's so many guys in the clubhouse. It's really hard to just pick one answer that, everyone's been given back so much to the community and to certain areas. It's hard to pick just one guy.
By the way, a couple of things here. One, you didn't mention Shohei. He's not making enough to give back, so that's why you didn't mention him, right? Because he's only making $2 million, so he can't afford to give back, right? Right? No, I know. I'm sure Shohei does plenty. Okay, it's a joke. People.
Yeah, he does plenty.
Yeah, but I got to ask you this because I was just checking my email and I just went to my mailbox. My invite, it's not in my spam, it's not in my junk. It's not in my trash. It wasn't in the regular mail. I don't know. Maybe Kratz got one. Kratz, did you get one? Scotty, did you get invited? Because I got
to check my junk.
Oh, always check your junk. But
check your junk.
Like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it got lost in the email. I'm looking for it.
I can send it to you guys if you want. If you want to come help out, for sure, we'd love that.
It's gonna be tight now because Thursday is tight. If I would have known on Sunday,
see, here we go. This is like trying to say you're my good luck charm and you never show up. All right.
But see, I show up even when I'm not there. But here's my thing: if it would have come Sunday, then I would have had 4 days to plan. But because it's Monday now, 3 days is not a plannable offense.
He's gonna send a highlight video of himself, just his career highlights to play. At any point, you can use it. It's rights free.
AJ,
I do have some
AJ,
DVDs.
We can try
right
to
there,
auction
AJ.
it off. I don't know if it's gonna bring in any money, but we can try to auction off the video.
Yeah,
I have some DVDs that used to. I don't even know if you know what DVDs are, Max, but they used to give us DVDs every year. Listen, they used to give us DVDs like at the half when I was with the White Sox. It would be like Pierzynski positive, and it'd be like my 4 hits for the first half, and I'd be like, oh, and I don't think I ever watched one of them. They're in my garage.
I still got VHSs at my house. I know what DVDs are.
Nice. Okay.
Like Max is not 23 years old. This is the Max Muncy that's played for a long time. And AJ, if you want to give the QR codes right at the bottom of the screen, if Max just points to it right now, just get your phone out.
My phone doesn't work. I don't know. It's broke.
Oh.
All right, see, look,
Phone.
here we go.
Phone.
All right.
It only plays highlights.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Max. I tell you what. I will make a donation, Max. It might not be much as Kratz, but I will make a donation.
Can I make a donation as much as Kershaw or Tani?
Can you make a donation on the QR code?
Any amount helps.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, also, if you're not able to attend, you can still sign up on the website and bid on a lot of the items that are going to be available. I know we've got jerseys and bats signed by pretty much all the guys on the team, and there is going to be a jersey that's signed by Shohei, and the guy or girl that wins that jersey will get it personalized to them. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Show reached out about that and said that he could personalize it, and we thought that'd be great. And so whoever gets the Shohei jersey, it'll be personalized to them, and hopefully that brings in a ton of money to help out for the community. Like I said, it's all going to a great cause. 100% of it's going to a good cause.
But if I win that and then he personalizes it to me, I can't sell it. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
That is kind of the point.
I know. I'm aware.
Or you can sell it to another AJ, I guess.
There's not. Really I did see AJ Ellis this weekend, so maybe he'll.
AJ Hinch.
I will say, if you win the jersey, I don't think he will personalize it for you. So,
Oh.
Okay.
All
right. So
he
then
can
maybe
write to Max, and I want to break.
He'll do it if you ask. I'm sure.
He might make like an AI video of him just taking you deep, even though you never. Well, I don't know if you ever pitched, but he might make an AI video taking you deep.
That'd be great. That'd be worth more than the jersey.
Exactly.
That'd be so great. Max, seriously though, good luck. Good luck with this, because it is an awesome thing that you're doing for the fire relief and everything out there in LA. And we're not making, we're having fun with it, but seriously, I hope everything goes well on Thursday and you guys get a huge turnout and make a lot of money.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. And, one of the organizations that it is going to help out is the YMCA of the Foothills, who, their outreach in the area is, millions almost. And it's just one of those things with the Dodgers Foundation and the YMCA, just knowing that all of 100% of the money, it's going to help out people, help rebuild homes, help rebuild the community, help people get back on their feet. And, to us, it was a no-brainer to us to try to help out, help some of the devastation out and just help people get back on their feet. And we're really excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of good wine, and it'll be a nice little off-day treat for the guys.
Love that. AJ's doing the QR code right now.
It's too far away.
You can get it. I'll give you a closer look.
I am trying, though. I promise. I'm going to have to go different here. I'm gonna do it
on your screen.
I'm going to do it on my other screen.
You watch the show on your own screen. There you go.
There we go.
All right. While he learns QR codes, Max, you're the man. Thank you so much. Enjoy Thursday. We'll catch you in a few weeks.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you. Max Muncy, Dodgers slugger. Be right back. If you're one of those on-the-go people, or you're skipping meals but you don't want to, there's got to be a quicker solution. We've got one for you. It's called Huel. I'm going to take a swig. Cheers to Huel. This is the Black Edition, plant-based as well. Good for me. But what do you like about it?
I like the nutrition of it, and the replacement meal is great for me. Someone always on the go. Like, man, I can just grab one of these out of my fridge, lunch, breakfast, whatever it takes. Whatever meal I'm not going to have time to eat, it fills me up. And it tastes great. You know why? Because it tastes like milkshake, ice cream, whatever you want to call it, whatever flavor you get is delicious.
35 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, 27 vitamins and minerals, low sugar. You can get yourself 15% off plus a free gift for new customers using the exclusive FT code FOUL, F-O-U-L, at Huel.com/FOUL. Please see our description for terms and conditions. Skip the stress, not the nutrition. Try Huel today for complete nutrition. Bottled.
Still trying to get this thing to work, by the way.
We'll get you.
Okay.
I'm going to crack a Huel while you answer this fan question from Nick on Instagram. Not sure if AJ's on the show tomorrow. This was from a few days ago, but whenever he's on next, can you talk about Kyle Teel and Edgar Quero on the Sox? Two good prospects, catchers in the majors. It's like what he's seen from Quero. You would love your take on how you manage developing both of them.
That's the issue is how do you get them enough both playing time to play?
50-50?
I guess, but they've been DHing and playing at the same time, but it's not. You gotta catch.
Mm-hmm.
You have to catch, and man, I mean, Corey Lee was pretty good, but he got sent down, which is kind of surprising. You would like to have the thing for me, Kratz, and maybe I'm wrong, is I would always like if I have one catcher that I'm trying to develop into the next guy that's going to carry me. I always wanted to have a veteran guy there to help him, especially a guy. Quero and Teel both have never played in this league. It's always nice to have another guy, a veteran guy, whoever that is. And because, listen, Drew Butero's there, I know that, but like you need that guy that's back there with you, going through the scouting reports, playing in the games, watching your every move. I don't know. I think they're both going to be good, but I don't know if the development is good or bad having both of them there.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen it. I've never seen two prospect catchers play at the same time. I don't know how they're going to get enough at-bats. I don't know how you're going to really evaluate which guy is going to be your everyday guy. Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. T, trash talk. We love it. It's the regular season. It's Yankees, Red Sox. Both teams are good enough to be playoff contenders. Obviously, the Yankees are in really good shape. The Red Sox have stumbled out of the gate, but they're still in a position where they can be a playoff team. Anyway, they met up this weekend. Red Sox rookie Hunter Dobbins with this quote. I've said it before, that if the Yankees were the last team to give me a contract, I'd retire. This before his first career start against the Yankees yesterday in a win for the Red Sox. Judge got to him early. Dobbins, by the way, is scheduled to join us on Thursday, I believe 1:15 Eastern on Thursday. Aaron Judge said, quote, I've only heard Ken Griffey say that. So I was a little surprised. Jazz Chisholm also saw the line and before yesterday's game said, I think there should be more trash talk in baseball. Anyone agree? Anyway, free smoke at 7. Love it.
Okay, here's first of all, let's give a little context to this. Dobbins grew up a Red Sox fan. His dad was a Red Sox fan. So his entire life has been as a Red Sox fan. Now he's pitching for the Red Sox. So Vlad Guerrero said this too. Remember, he said that he wouldn't. So I remember Griffey was famous, but Guerrero also said this. So there's a lot of people for a long time that said I wouldn't play for him because of the facial hair. They've changed that now. But I don't know. I mean, listen, it's a kid having fun, saying what he feels. We want him to be transparent. Let's do this. He wasn't taking a shot at like the Yankees players. He wasn't saying like Aaron Judge sucks and Jazz sucks and Goldschmidt sucks and Volpe sucks. I mean, he was just like, hey, I grew up a Red Sox fan. I hate the Yankees and I wouldn't want to play for them. Good on you, mate. Like, I love it. Be honest and tell them what these mean, and that's it. That's it.
You like it, Kratz?
I mean, I think it's whether I like it or not, it's not something I would have said because you always need – maybe that's the last team that will sign you at some point. You never know. But I think it's blown more out of proportion or maybe taken out of context. Exactly what AJ said. He wasn't ripping on any current player or past Yankee player. He was ripping on the fact that it is the biggest rivalry in baseball. And if he grew up a Red Sox fan, he now plays for the Red Sox, he should not like the Yankees. That is okay for him to not like the Yankees. Even if you just got to the Red Sox and you just played for the Yankees, you should not like him. Like, maybe he's the only one that's honest and everyone else is just soft and they're keeping it to themselves.
Well, everyone else is trying to make sure that they don't end up getting an offer from the Yankees in free agency, and Hunter Dobbins is like, "Nah, I'm good. There's 29 teams. I'll skip that one."
Vlad Guerrero changed his tune when he got close to free agency. Remember, he was like, "Oh wait, I will play for them if I have to." So listen, don't ever say that. But I think it's great that he did say that because he was honest. We want transparency. I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, and then Judge hit a freaking 900-foot bomb off of him in the game. So,
but
of course, on the show, they were like, "Oh, this is because he said what he said about." No, one had nothing to do with the other. But it was good thinking that it did.
Tim Healy was reporting on the game, and apparently he said like Yankee fans didn't even really know about it. There wasn't like this. You'd expect when you see that all this booing. I think it also happened pretty quickly that not a lot of people caught up to it. Things do get buried on weekends as well, but some people online were like, "Oh, I can't wait to see how he gets received." Like, it's not Soto coming back.
Yeah, I mean, he's a starting pitcher in the big leagues. He's not a superstar yet, and Judge is just the best hitter on the planet. That's why he hit the ball like a lefty hit it to right field over the bullpen. Like, I don't understand how he does that. But all that to say, Ken Griffey, if you look into it, and Vladimir Guerrero, they might have a reason of why they said it, what they said. Hunter Dobbins' family just really liked the Red Sox, so that means they really hated the Yankees. I love rivalries.
Red Sox took 2 out of 3 over the weekend.
Yeah, and they got to Rodon last night. Didn't they get to Fried too on Friday? No, or am I wrong on that?
No, Yankees won on Friday.
Oh, the Yankees won on Friday. Sorry. I had a long weekend. That's all I'm going to say. I had a long weekend.
A lot of car sickness.
Yarborough pitched.
Yeah, Yarborough.
Yeah,
Fried pitched against Cleveland.
Yeah, that's right.
That was Thursday. But Trevor Story had a big weekend. Narvaez, who was in the Yankee system, bit him yesterday. Corey didn't know if he was going to play him in that one. And then Narvaez said he was thinking about bunting. Good thing he didn't. 3-run homer. They never looked back. Chapman closed them down in game 2. Yeah, Yankees, it was 9-6 on Friday. That's when Devin Williams pulled off the save. Yeah. But let's get to the headliner over the weekend for Red Sox fans. Roman Anthony hit a grand slam 497 feet. 497 feet.
So call him up. Call him up. Just call him up.
He can hit a ball 500 feet. You better get him up to the show.
Come on. No, if they don't have a spot for him.
He does have the highest average exit velocity in the minor leagues. There it goes. You're going to lose it because everyone did. We're looking at it right now. Good player.
He is. But if they don't have a place for him to go, then why you can't call him up, Kratz? I mean, where's he going to play? He's not going to play center. He's not going to play left. He's not going to play right. Where's he going to play? Unless he can play first. Where's he going to play?
You have to have a place to play. Like, we don't just call people up and you hit one 497 feet. It doesn't mean he's ready now. That doesn't mean any. I think a kid hit one like 511 feet a few years ago in Sacramento. Like, it doesn't mean you're automatically called up. It just is another, hey, you know what? This dude has extreme talent. Boston is a 500 team, and they're playing a little bit below 500 right now. If they can find a spot in the lineup for him, and they think he's ready, plate discipline, swing decisions, all that stuff, he's going to come up. But they can't just call him up and be like, we're batting 10 tonight because we feel like we need an extra hitter and a DH today. No, this is the big leagues. You got to have a spot to play.
Yeah, Ken Rosenthal brought up an article over the weekend, or brought up a point in his column over the weekend about the Red Sox terrible defense and how that drips into your ERA too, because their ERA is not great as a team. Mm-hmm. Their offense is top 5 in runs scored. So that's not the thing. But his idea was option Christian Campbell, who needs more second base reps because he has struggled defensively.
And offensively too.
And offensively.
I mean, he did hit a 312-foot homer last night, though.
Yes. But offensively in the past month, he's been cold. And he said put a platoon of Ceddanne Rafaela and David Hamilton at second. And I know Rafaela is really good in center, but he was like, go with Duran, Wilyer Abreu, and Roman Anthony, and you'll have a better defensive team, and you should have a better offensive team.
They just signed Christian Campbell to a long-term deal. Guess what, guys? He's not going down right now. He's not. The front office made this decision. He's staying. Right, Kratz? I mean, he's going to stay because they have to prove they were right by signing him.
They probably promised that they would keep him up. Often that happens, right? I know that back to the Evan Longoria story. They're like, hey, you're getting optioned unless you take this contract. And he was like, cool, I'll take the contract. And they're like, cool, we won't send you down if you struggle. That's basically what they said. Obviously, there's a line to that if you go over $1 million, but you're going to get a much longer leash.
Scott Kingery did the same thing to him. Never played above Double-A. Like that's valuable. That's why they're not going to send him down right now. But it's also, not to beat a dead horse, man, if only somebody had not taken up the DH spot and decided to play first.
Nope.
Then their defense would still suck.
Not happening.
Devers at first is
maybe this is a 500 team. Maybe they're a 500 team.
They don't pitch well enough to not be. They don't pitch well enough.
They don't have arms.
Crochet's legit.
Who else?
That's what I'm saying. The rest of them haven't been good enough to not be a 500 team.
Yeah.
This goes back to the argument we had about the Diamondbacks. They slug, the Red Sox hit, but they don't pitch well enough to not get out of their own way because you eventually run into good pitching and you can't slug your way out of everything. Mm-hmm. And that's when all you got to do is face one good pitcher or one team that figures something out against your team and you're like, oh man, we scored 4, but we gave up 7 every game. It just doesn't work.
Run prevention's a problem for this team. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the nonstop chatter up in Boston is call up Roman Anthony. He is the savior. We'll see. Coming up next.
Can we stop talking about the Red Sox for a while?
Never.
This is like the most talked about 500 team of all time. There is so much. We talk about it all the time. There's so much drama. Can we just give them we can make a song when can we talk about the Red Sox when they are something again?
But they have just as much drama as almost every other team combined.
That's what I'm saying. But it's all it's just manufactured junk. I feel like
could be a Netflix documentary.
Never gets old.
No,
never gets old. I mean, you know what hurt the numbers from the documentary that they put out this season? Right? It's like, hey, honey, you want to watch the doc on the Red Sox from last year, or do you want to watch the
you just want to turn it on live?
Wreck? Yeah,
watch it live. We can watch Nesson and watch Papelbon and Jim Rice talk about it.
I said, Rizzo. You want vanilla ice cream that's warmed up in a cup, or do you want a freaking beautiful ice cream sundae of drama this year? Because last year, not that much happened. Anyway, let's get to Bob Nightengale, USA Today Insider, next on Trade Happenings. Not yet, but soon. This one's easy for us to talk about. I'm a huge fan of Hungry Root. They're delivering groceries that we want and groceries that we didn't know we want, but we want.
Oh yeah, they every box that I get from Hungry Root has a new snack in it that I'm like, oh, this looks interesting, and then I try it. And I'm like, oh, I might need some more of those. So they're great at not only getting the groceries you want, but they surprise you with tasty little treats that you didn't know you needed.
Agreed. Turkey jerky. There was a chocolate pudding thing where I'm like, I'm not a big chocolate pudding fan, then I have it and I'm like, this is awesome. So they can cater to your needs. You got gluten-free, or you're looking for a certain diet that you want to fulfill, or there are certain items that you love. They learn along with you. You let them know your preferences. They just nail it. Take advantage of the exclusive FT offer, please. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/FT. Use code FT. That's hungryroot.com/FT, code FT, to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. Kratz, are the Phillies okay? They've lost 9 of 10. Their offense is kind of dead. Their bullpen's been a problem all year. And Bryce Harper has a lingering wrist issue that places him on the injured list.
This iteration of them losing, this 10 games when they were the best record in the National League, and then they went, nope. So it's not been the pitching as much as it's been. I get it. The one, I think Jesus Luzardo had the stinker in there, but they just haven't scored runs. And they haven't scored runs. I get it. The Blue Jays, they can pitch, but you got to score. You got to score more runs than that against the Pirates. You can't get swept by the Pirates. They're going through it right now. The one thing they've struggled with the whole year is facing starting pitching. When there's a decent starting pitcher on the mound, they struggle. And then they come alive in the sixth through ninth inning. But right now it's something that they've cut down on strikeouts, which everyone said was their issue. Can't strike out as much and big. They're just – the other day, Andrew Heaney had 45 pitches through 5. He started the 6th with 45 pitches. They weren't putting up, those big team at bats.
Jordan Romano's cold again.
They rely on their starting pitching, and they rely on slug, and they're not doing. Pitching's been fine, but the slug has not been there.
Schwarber's cold for a small stretch, so no one's blaming that. It's just he can't carry the team.
He can't hit a homer every game.
Yeah.
But Real Muto hasn't been great.
Here we go. Bob Nightengale joining us right now from USA Today. Good to see you, my friend. And I know it's a little bit early, Bob, but are any of your conversations starting to circulate around what the trade deadline could look like, aside from the obvious buyers and sellers?
Well, people are still predicting kind of like a dull deadline just because so many teams in the race. But if you're a buyer, you're hoping some of these teams fall apart. You're hoping that Atlanta keeps losing. You hope that Arizona Diamondbacks don't get in the race. Diamondbacks can be very intriguing. They got a lot of pieces there, whether it's a Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, both free agents. Eugenio Suarez at third base, first base with Naylor. So they got a lot of pieces there that people want if they're not in the race July 31st.
Bob, what would it take for that, though? What would it take for the Diamondbacks to wave the white flag? What's their record have to be at a certain point? And you could throw the Braves in there, too. I mean, I think the Braves are cooked. They're 10 games under right now. They lose they figure out ways to lose, kind of like the Diamondbacks. They both kind of just figure out new ways to lose. But what would it take for both those teams' records at a certain point for Alex Anthopoulos and Mike Hazen to say, you know what, we're trading everybody?
I think Atlanta's case, they still want to have most of these guys back. They don't have those free agent guys. The big one would be, of course, Marcelo Zuna. But outside that, they're not going to trade away their young core. So I don't think they have a whole lot of pieces there. Maybe a couple of bullpen guys. Where Arizona, hey, if you're 10 games back or so and kind of hopelessly out of it, I would think 10 games back would do it for sure. They're probably not going to keep Zach Gallen. He's a free agent. They're probably going to keep Merrill Kelly, but they can still trade him and get him back. They got pieces in the bullpen. Suarez is a great slugger, and Naylor's been fine at first base. So they got more pieces than Atlanta as far as guys that would be willing to trade.
Because of how tight I think the National League is in the sense that there's a lot of good teams, what team do you see as rising to the top and being like, hey, you know what? We're not going to wait this out. We're not going to wait till the trade deadline. We're going to be the first to strike, because this is the kind of time of the month here that, hey, you know what? If a team strikes, they jump the gun on other teams and get that first ball rolling.
Well, the guy here always keeps their eye on is Dave Dombrowski. He's as aggressive as anybody. And pretty much if they don't make the World Series, it's a disaster. I mean, this team's been built to win. They ran it back one more time. And this, offense has always struggled come October. So they got to be aggressive here. And people think it'll happen. I think the Cubs will too. And you still got a GM, Jed Hoyer, last year of his contract. They need to make the playoffs. They're sitting pretty. But, yeah, if you can strike the first week of July, it helps out. I mean, remember Milwaukee went and got CC Sabathia early. And those extra starts got them in the postseason. So if you can get an extra 3 or 4 starts from somebody, it's really advantageous.
Bob, who's the biggest name that's going to be traded this year? Right now, if you looked at it, who do you think the biggest name that'll be traded this year will be?
It could be Zach Gallen. It really could. Everybody's talking about Shane Alcantara, but God, he struggled so much you do have 2.5 years of control. So you're going to get more for Alcantara than you would Gallen, who's a free agent. So I would think, kind of a toss-up. I'd go Gallen over Alcantara unless they magically just turn it around here in Arizona.
That's a good one. What about position players?
No one that just jumps out at you that would do it. I mean, if you want a slugger, you would take, Suarez, kind of Falefa. He'll be moved, but, not a big name. I'm not sure how many big names there will be that's going to get moved. You always have to keep an eye on Milwaukee. Milwaukee will trade some pitchers and then get some guys back. I don't think they'll trade Peralta. I think they still remember what happened when they traded Josh Hader and tried to thread the needle. The clubhouse went berserk. I don't think they'll make that mistake again.
By the way, Bob, so you're just saying if the Diamondbacks don't trade anybody, there's no trades coming for trade deadline, right? Like if the Diamondbacks, if they don't make any trades, then guess what, guys? We're canceling the trade deadline. Because you keep talking about the Diamondbacks. Is it more that the Diamondbacks players are that valued, or that some of the other teams who would make trades, a White Sox, an A's possibly, a Rockies, a Marlins, just don't have pieces that other teams want? Maybe they don't want that badly is a better way to phrase it.
No, you're exactly right, AJ. I think that's it. You just don't have the pieces. I mean, no one's calling the White Sox and say, can I have Luis Robert now? The way he's hitting. Cincinnati could be that one sleeper team that could be very active as far as dumping guys. If they're not in the race, they got some nice pitching, whether it's Nick Martinez or some of these guys to move. They do have some bats. So they could be a team to keep an eye on, because right now I think they're kind of on the fence.
Obviously, we're a baseball show, so we like baseball talk. Is there a chance that they could change or add a trade deadline of June 15th where you could trade the player and that new team still gets a pick? Because now anybody that's traded during the year, you can't get the pick, you can't do the qualifying offer, and which would end up giving the team that gets the trade more of a, hey, you know what, we're willing to go after this guy early on, and it creates more of a competition early for these guys that could be traded.
No, it's an interesting concept. I haven't heard that brought up before in past CBA negotiations. The only trouble with it is we're almost June 15th now. It's only, 2-3 teams are out of the race. I just don't know how much people get moved. And you're going to get bashed enough for giving up. I'm not sure how many teams would be comfortable waving that white flag, this early in the season.
Bob, I've got a position player name for you who popped up in some trade rumors this past week. What do you think the chances are that Jarren Duran could be on the block?
Well, they got to make move at room in the outfield at some point, and the Padres have been calling about him, but they don't have that one piece either. I mean, the Padres have already traded away a lot of prospects. I'm not sure what they have to give up. They're going for this thing, so I'm not sure that fits. I mean, he's got 2.5 years of control, not making any money, so it makes sense why the Padres badly want him. I just don't know who they have to give up. They've already given up a lot of guys the last 2 years just by trading prospects and going for this thing.
Hey, Bob, here's another interesting team. What about the Orioles? The Orioles, O'Hearn, Mullins, maybe, I don't know, if Morton keeps pitching okay, would he be one? Sagano, maybe Eflin. They have some names out there. Would they go into another trade and try to get some prospects back to try to help them in the future?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with them, AJ, is they got so many prospects already. They're absolutely loaded in the farm system. But yeah, if they don't get back in this thing, and some GMs say, you know what, keep an eye for these guys. They may still make a wild card run. But the names you said for sure. I mean, Eflin would bring a bunch back. Sagano, he's only been there a half a year. If you want to do that, fine. Same thing too with center field. But yeah, Eflin would be a guy that everybody would want, and he can pitch, big time situations. But a lot of GMs say keep an eye out for the Orioles. They got a soft schedule. We know they can't hit lefties, but it might be too early to pull the plug on these guys.
Bob, what would you say is the most surprising storyline for a team so far this season, which probably, I guess, would be – let's do it this way. a surprise where you're like, wow, they're much better than I expected them to be. And then one super downer. I know we've covered a couple of them already in Atlanta, I guess Arizona to an extent, definitely Baltimore. But what's one up, one down for you that really surprised you?
The one up for sure is the one nobody hardly talks about, St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, it's unbelievable what they're doing. It's almost like that movie Major League where they're winning despite what the front office wants to do. And they want to trade guys at the deadline. They want to dump and get prospects, whether it's Ryan Helsley or a bunch of those guys. But the way they're playing, you can't do it. So they're kind of fooling the front office plans. I think Ollie Marmel has done an unbelievable job as manager there. And then on the flip end, like you said, the two guys you're talking about, the two teams. The one, though, is probably the Texas Rangers. I thought they had a chance to get to a World Series and win it. They're number 3 in baseball for ERA. DeGrom is back to looking like the old Jacob DeGrom, but they just can't hit. I still think they have a chance to recover, but they've been very disappointing. I don't think anybody thought this offense would be this bad.
Hey, Bob, you saw the Marlins Rockies attendance the other day? Did it remind you of the Metrodome like around 98, 99 when I was first coming up and we'd have a 11 a.m. game against, I don't know, any team not named the Yankees or Red Sox, and there was about 300 people at those games?
Those are classics, man. Those Saturday games at 11 o'clock in the morning because you guys have to be off the field by 2 o'clock.
We had a time limit. We had a time limit so the Gophers could get the field ready to play. Oh, my God.
How does the time limit work?
If the game ended, it was a 3-hour time limit. We started like 10 in the morning.
So if it's the 8th inning, it's over?
Game's over.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yes.
A big league game that would have ended on a time limit. I've never heard this.
Suspended. It would be suspended. Yep.
To get a college in?
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody played there. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Like said, there's no fans there anyway, so what difference does it make?
True. That is true. Although you could get the doubleheader. You could get a bad Twins team, and you could get the Gophers, which they weren't very good at football at the time either. So you could get a doubleheader of just not good. But I did get to go to some Gopher games, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they drew better, remember?
True. Oh, there's no doubt about that.
That's true.
But what do you think? I mean, honestly, though, what about the Marlins? And we use the Rockies too, but what are they going to do, the Marlins? Because they can't get any traction in South Florida. Nobody likes going to the stadium, even though it's air-conditioned and all that. But they just can't get any traction there. Is there any hope for the Marlins down the road?
I don't know. I mean, people hate driving there. Just, it's not nothing to do around the area anyway, but it takes from Fort Lauderdale. Scouts talk about taking an hour and a half to 2 hours to get there. The strange part is when WBC rolls around, it's electric. It's the greatest atmosphere outside of a World Series or right there with a World Series. But they cannot get people there during the season. I mean, they have no choice but to win or people are going to come out. But, it cost, I was talking to a Marlins official, so they lost money those 3 games because it cost more to put on those 3 games again, than it did to actually play them. So with the Rockies, by hiring all the concession people and stadium workers, they lost money because the entire attendance, I think, was only like 19,000.
Jeez,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Tens of people saw them play, but none of them bought beer. But I have to go to something more positive for baseball. Aaron Judge, the season he's putting together this year, he stays on the pace that he's at. Will it be the greatest offensive season we've ever seen?
No, it's still Barry Bonds. I mean, you can argue Barry Bonds is the greatest player who's ever played the game. But outside Barry Bonds, it might be. It's only right up there. For him to have this high of a batting average with the home runs, you're talking about Ted Williams days, those type of things. So, but it's incredible to watch, fun to watch. As you guys know, he's like one of the nicest guys, human beings on the face of the planet. Unbelievable. So, I mean, his teammates said they love playing for the Yankees just because he's on that team. It's unbelievable what a leadership role he has, and just bringing guys over on the road to his suite, playing video games, renting out restaurants for families. So it couldn't happen to a better guy.
Is it too much to ask for him to be the face of baseball? Because he's pretty reticent to do that. He doesn't want to be the face of baseball, but he is one of the best teammates ever. Like, He is all those things that you just said and more. But the argument is, he does his interviews and he's not necessarily putting himself out there. Is there an argument that we shouldn't make him do that?
No, I mean, Jeter was the same way. Jeter very, rarely opened up. He's doing things that Jeter never did. So, no, I think it's fine. And the thing about him is not like he's not doing interviews where some guys will take a whole series off. He's addressing the media just about every game afterwards. Doesn't matter if he goes 0 for 4 or hits 3 home runs. So, no, I think he is the face of baseball. And I think he's comfortable with that. It's tough for him to go out and stuff because of his size. He talked about going out to Starbucks in Seattle and walking across the street. Everybody's following him over there and things like that. Sometimes you kind of wish he was 6'1" or 6'2" and get away with it instead of being 6'7", 280.
Well, is that why he hit the home run off Dobbins? Because he's the Yankees captain, and Dobbins said he hates the Yankees. So last night he's like, "I'll show you I'm the captain."
Took it personal.
That's right.
I can't wait for the Red Sox Yankee games at Fenway. Those fans are going to go crazy cheering for him. I mean, now he's going to be beloved forever at Fenway.
That is an epic line. I will give it to him.
Hey, you're talking Aaron Judge. What about can we give Cal Raleigh some love? He actually has more homers than anybody right now.
Yep, that's true.
Can we talk about Cal Raleigh, a catcher with 25 homers, and we're in beginning of June?
Yeah, I'm going to see them the next 3 days, but it's unbelievable. I covered my Piazza with the Dodgers, and that's what you're reminding of. But, it looks like he's a better defensive catcher than Piazza. Unbelievable the stuff he's doing. So, yeah, no one talks about him, I think, because he plays in Seattle. If he was in New York or L.A., he'd be on the news every single night.
Hey, no offense to Piazza, but he never won a platinum glove, okay? Piazza never won a platinum glove, Bob. Let's be serious. He was on Baywatch. And he had platinum hair, but he never won a platinum glove.
Did they have platinum gloves back then?
No, but he also was like me. We had skillets. We had iron skillets.
You guys could both hit. You could tell both of you could hit by the way you caught. That's how you could tell.
We caught like we could hit.
You could hit. Even sometimes you'd have some of the pitchers complain about Piazza behind the plate. And Time Lasorda said, "Okay, you want me to put the backup catcher in? No, we'll take his 2 home runs and 5 ribbies every night."
Exactly.
Yes. Hey, Bob, last one for you. When do you think Shohei Ohtani pitches in a major league game again? And I know the Dodgers are doing fine. I mean, they're not running away with the division by any means. But does this season surprise you? Because we talked so much about pitching injuries last year for them, and we're not even going to have time for it on the rest of the show, so I'll mention it now. Tony Gonsolin heads to the shelf. He's got a little elbow discomfort, so I think that makes it 8 starters on the IL for this team. What do you think?
I think we'll see him in August, but not before then. But even in spring training, people are watching and say, you know what? He could pitch for the Dodgers right now. He could have been their opening day starter, but just kind of slow playing him. It's like they had so many injuries. They say, you know what? We want this guy healthy come October. And even October, they'll probably, use him 3-4 innings at a time. They're not going to, push him 7-8 innings, that sort of thing. So I think they're slow playing a lot of guys. And, they don't want the nightmare of a year ago. Even though they won the World Series, they only have 3 starters, limping into the postseason. Right now, the only guy they can trust is Yamamoto. And, he's pitching like a Cy Young candidate. But I think they're just taking their sweet time. Even if they had to push him, say Ohtani was with the Padres or any of their team, I think he'd definitely be pitching right now.
And all the Dodgers did last year was win the World Series. Only 3 pitchers. But I have to ask this. I saw this the other day, and I don't know if it's a real thing or not, Bob. But you're deeper into this stuff than I am. Before 2020, I think it was, the Dodgers had the fewest or some of the fewest injuries. And then in 2020, they brought in the driveline guys and went heavy driveline. And since then, they've had like the most injuries. Is there a coincidence, or is that something that's a real thing? Because I've seen it in a couple different places now where it's been mentioned. I don't know anything about driveline other than you see their videos and people go to them to try to get better offensively and defensively. I don't know what they do, but is that a real thing?
It's really could be. I know in Boston, they kind of hire the driveline guys, and, it's not like they're lighting the world on fire. You talk to scouts that go to those facilities, and everybody's high-fiving everybody when they're throwing, 98 to 100 miles an hour. The ball may be 20 feet over the catcher's head, have no idea where he's throwing. but they're kind of saying, okay, throw as hard as you can. If you blow out, you blow out. Getting your money first. That sort of thing. So I think that's a problem now. Is just hardly anybody knows how to pitch. Remember Greg Maddux used to always say, "There's nothing better than just a controlled fastball." And how many guys actually have that? So it's almost like some teams could care less. Say, you know what? We'll grab these guys. They get hurt, spin them out. We'll bring in some new guys. Where it's become such a thing where some agents are saying they don't want their guys drafted by certain clubs for that reason.
Wow.
That's interesting. You don't have a lot of control of that, but
this isn't the NFL. We don't have a Deion Sanders, Bob, okay? We can't tell him where to draft Shador. I want him to go to Cleveland, dang it.
But you can say, hey, I'm not going to take slot money. I'm taking over slot money, or you better go move on to the next guy. You can do that.
True.
Hey,
so
you get one
damn
arm.
Good, though.
Yeah, you better be good.
You better be damn good to be pulling that off, Bob.
That's true. But, hey, it's interesting to hear. Bob, great stuff. Great to have you back on. Give Bob a follow if you don't already at B Nightengale and check out his articles, including the Sunday column that he puts together on USA Today. Thanks, Bob. Good talking to you.
You too. Nice, guys. Take care.
You too. See ya. FT, be right back. Craig Kimbrel, DFA'd in one day. An investment in your hair is an investment in yourself. It's summertime, and if you're feeling like the hair's getting a little thin and you want to add a little thickness to it, within 3 to 6 months, there's no better place to go than
Nutrafol. And why wouldn't you? It's not like some chemicals you're putting on your hair, in your body. It's a natural supplement. Think of it essentially as vitamins. And you get a little bit more confidence because you got thicker hair.
Exactly. It's a big deal, and we want you to start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol for a limited time. They're offering the FT fam $10 off your first month's subscription, plus free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and you enter promo code FOUL. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code FOUL. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code FOUL.
And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
More love for Cal Raleigh because he's on fire. 590 slugging percentage on non-fastballs this season. The stat cooked up by Inside Edge. That number's best in the American League.
That's high.
On non-fastballs.
That's crazy. The thing that I think of that's crazy about, if you watch Cal Raleigh's homers or his games, how far, I don't know if you've seen it, AJ, he gets out in front on so many balls and he's still able to put it 10 rows back. Like donkey pop. He has got that, big dumper.
Put that big dumper behind it. But you know how you hit home runs? Clip it out front. That's how you hit home runs. Catch that junk out front. Clip it out front. If you want to hit home runs, you got to clip it out front. You can't be afraid to swing and miss, which he's not afraid to do. But if you want to hit home runs, you got to really focus on clipping the ball out front because your launch angle is not started here. Contrary to whatever certain hitting coaches say, your launch angle is here. You clip it here, like out in front. So like instead of clipping it back here, you clip it out here, and that's your bat's on the way up. That's where you catch the launch angle. It's not back here where you dip the barrel and go like this. That's not it. You got to catch it out front. That's how you get launch angle. Unless you're Aaron Judge, who's just stronger than everybody else.
Right. He's
a whole different animal of a player.
Yep, I agree. That's cool. Good for Cal. And for opposing pitchers, you might notice some changes soon. Pitch them more careful. The Mariners' offense is sinking back down besides Cal.
Struggle.
Hot corner, let's sizzle. Well, the Braves fell apart. They've lost 7 straight. They've dropped 14 of 17. I think Ken Rosenthal in Fair Territory today said they are 9-19 in one-run games. Yes. That's
They're like
not
the Red
good.
Sox. The Red Sox are terrible in one-run games too.
Yeah, it feels like every game lately is a walk-off loss for them.
Yeah, but different ways. But they were up 6 runs in the 9th and lost.
Mm.
That one is like, okay,
The
season's
Diamondbacks
over,
lost
guys.
on, what was that, Thursday? That was bad.
And then they got swept by the Giants.
Yep.
Then they got swept by the Giants. Walk-off wild pitch. Walk-off Matt Chapman. I mean, they're inventing ways to lose at this point. And there's not. And as a team, Kratz, you could speak on this too. Like, there comes a point where you're on this team and you're going, all right, you get to the ballpark and you're thinking, man, how are we going to figure out how to lose this one today? And once you have a 6-run lead in the ninth, that game's locked. You're already thinking about what you're having for dinner after the game. Not how
don't
lose this.
Don't forget, that was a getaway day. They were getting away and going to San Francisco. Don't tell me certain series or games don't permeate into the next. And then they get walked off. Like, Tom Glavine said it on Thursday when, like, this is the lowest point in the season. Don't ever say it can't get any lower because you got to play the next day again. And that was not the lowest point. Going into San Fran and having what happened, especially when you have Strider on the last day, who just – the hitters will let you know. The hitters will let you know, and right now, the hitters know what's coming from Strider.
This is random, but what's the Rockies mascot's name? Dinger?
Dinger, bro.
I think Dinger needed to call what's the Braves one?
Blooper.
Dinger needed to call Blooper and be like, it can get worse. I'm watching it right now.
Or
it
Stomper.
Can get so much
what about
worse.
Stomper in Sacramento? The
Stomper.
elephant.
Or we're going to talk about Stomper coming up soon, but
even Stomper can't get on the mound there.
True. A couple things on the mound for the Braves. Number one, Craig Kimbrel had been pitching well in the minor leagues. He had like a 1-something ERA. Braves didn't want to call him up. They were hesitant to call him up. And this is sometimes when you look at an ERA and you look at a team and you're like, what am I missing? Teams are pretty smart. He gets called up. One scoreless appearance. Now, what happened in that appearance? There was like a pickoff, right? There was two of the outs, I think.
Inning.
It was. And he was throwing pretty low 90s. Stuff didn't look good. And they were just like, we're not going to go through with this right now at all because we're a mess. And one game can blow our season at this point if we do somehow make a miraculous comeback. So they cut bait, DFA'd him right away after that. It's got to be tough to do just based on the history for him. And apparently he had been kind of on their case like, hey, it's time. Look at me right now. And they were like, I don't know. And they did it. They DFA'd him.
So it happens.
On the road.
It happens. I don't know. I love Craig. We've had Craig on here.
Yeah.
It's time. It just might be time.
37.
There's nothing else I can say except for this sucks. I mean, you got one day in the big leagues. I mean, I guess it counts as another year on his checklist, but man, it sucks, dude. It sucks. Go through all that and then get one day and then get DFA'd. I don't know.
He was pretty good in the first half last year. Kratz, 2.80 ERA, 23 for 28 saves isn't great, but he was racking up saves for a good Orioles team last year, and then it fell off in the second half, and it hasn't come back in terms of a team saying this is major league stuff. 91, 92, Breaker wasn't graded well. So this could be it.
I've seen some teams put some junk out there. You can't tell me Craig Kimbrel's stuff right now. Based on what I saw from his minor league video, I get it, his velo's down, but some teams are throwing some junk up there. And he might not be part of your future, but can Craig Kimbrel help with your young guys in the pen? Help them, like, talk them through it? I don't think teams see enough value in something like that. And I don't know Craig very well, but you can't tell me that his mentality, whether he's successful or not, couldn't permeate a bullpen that has young guys that are growing and trying to learn to do well in the big leagues.
Yeah, but the problem is the Braves can't afford to have that guy that can't pitch for them. That's the problem. He's a one inning. He's a 1 inning guy, right? So he is 1 inning, and that's it. And they need somebody to give them some length because the rest of their bullpen has been. I mean, Iglesias has been not very good this year, and so they just need. But listen, I would be with you on Kratz if it wasn't for the situation the Braves are in, being so far behind the 8 ball already in the division and in the wild card. They got to try to find ways to make it up. And if this was listen, if Kimbrel was on the A's, they would probably have him there and be like, hey, help these guys, right? Or if he was even on the Rockies, hey, we got all these young guys. Help them, Craig. You're here to help them, and you'll get your inning here and there, right? Kenley Jansen maybe on the Angels, right, is another example, right? He's there. He's going to get his saves. He gets a chance to pitch and do his thing. But on a team that's supposed to compete, as much as this sucks to say, like, there wasn't a use for him.
I get that. I 100% agree. And the drop in velocity, like you need – I think the Braves are trying to put a winning team out there. But if Craig Kimbrel doesn't have a spot in the big leagues on the White Sox, Sacramento, Pirates, Marlins, Rockies, even to the point of the Nats, I don't think – like teams can use an arm like him, yes, but they can also use the experience like him. Like even like the middle tier teams that are like, hey, we have some up and coming young pitchers, young bullpen guys. We need that guy in the pen. Teams don't value that as much. Winning teams value it, but winning teams, like you said, that are struggling like the Braves, need guys who are going to give you quality innings.
One more note here, because we teased it earlier. Saris put out an article. It's been almost a week about Spencer Strider, or it might have just been a tweet, but info. And he said he's lost something since this next surgery that he's coming back from right now, and he's made a few starts since. He said the stuff was sitting 97 plus before. Now he's sitting in the 95 range. You can still work with that. So the slider's down, and slider velo is a huge deal in terms of obviously measuring how effective that pitch is going to be. Obviously, it's effective for everything, but there's kind of a line, and he's below it, is according to this note. And he said maybe the velo coming back from the IL is predictive of future velocity. Studies have found. He's basically saying also like that sometimes you already have enough body of work. I don't know. I mean, how many starts has he made since he came back? 5? It's pretty early.
Let's pump the brakes. Look
He
at
doesn't
Sandy.
look the same.
Look at Sandy.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to what I was talking about. Guys that have this surgery, some take longer than others just to get the feel back and the velocity and everything back. I mean, you can look at Sandy Alcantara the same way. I mean, this is a tough thing to come. Everyone just assumes you're just automatically going to come back the same way you were, if not better, but it takes different people different lengths of time.
If you watch the triple, 5 starts, 5 losses. If you watch the triple by Chapman, there is a concerted effort to get on top of Strider's fastball. I mean, it was a pitch up and away, and I mean, Chapman couldn't have been more like top hand get on top of that ball. But guys were doing that before against Strider. The difference is that ball just stayed above their swing. Now guys are able to stay on it and be able to square that ball up instead of foul tip. Oh, another pitch. Now you got to speed it up. He gets you on the breaking ball. Or he goes a little bit higher than high on the fastball. The hitters will tell you if your stuff is back. Matt Harvey, I brought it up earlier. Matt Harvey was the same way. When he came back, I faced him pre-Tommy John surgery, and then when he got Tommy John surgery again, it took him a little bit for him to get his stuff back up, and then it fell off again.
Right. Lastly, what did you say earlier in the show? Braves they're
cooked right now. I mean, unless something miraculously happens to them, it's tough. I mean, I don't know what happened. The problem is they can't hit. They just haven't hit.
NL's too good.
Also, the NL's too good, but they just can't hit.
Mm-hmm.
They chase. They're chasing like crazy right now. Like it's weird. Like, yeah, it's just something that you don't normally see from this team.
Hey, let's swing back and talk about Joe Ryan's quotes on the Pablo López injury, plus Carlos Correa pointing out a severe issue in his last series against Sacramento that caused him to sit. One day left to enter our first ChatBCC weekly giveaway. It's 2 tickets. You get to pick the game this regular season, up to $400. Just let us know which game you want to do. We give you the tickets. It's a contest for round 1. Tell us who you want to take. Get them in ChatBCC. Tell us why you want to take them. We pick a winner tomorrow. We're going to do a giveaway every week based on something like that or trivia questions, all kinds of different prompts each week. Pretty cool, right?
That's great. Great. I mean, pick any game you want to go to.
Up to 400, you're getting.
Yeah, but up to 400,
getting
you
pretty
can go
good
to
seats.
a Dodger game. You can go to a Yankee game. You're not going to be sitting in Kratz's seats right behind home plate, but you can get some pretty decent seats for that.
Yeah. So we're excited about it. We're going to be doing it for the next couple months. You do have to be hanging out with us in ChatBCC. There's action in there every day in the host chat and the side chat, foulterritory.chat. So maybe, how should we do it? Tomorrow, should we bring up like the top 3 and then we vote?
Sure.
Okay.
No, not doing that.
Wait,
because
why?
here's the problem. If we do that, then everyone's going to be mad at us. So we got to find out a random way to do it. Because
Okay.
we're
not doing it random. This is a contest for round 1. We get to pick the coolest story.
But I know. But what I'm saying is maybe pick a top 5 and then throw them in like a randomizer and have it spit out the winner. Because if it gets to a top 5 and Kratz picks this person and I pick this person and you pick that person,
they're going to get pissed.
Then someone's going to be like, why didn't you pick me? I hate you guys.
Yeah.
And then they're going to tweet at us and Instagram at us and ChatBCC at us and all that. And I'm going to be like, dude, enough.
I'll take it. I'm okay with picking somebody. Everybody has a favorite.
True.
Which child is your favorite, Kratz?
Yeah.
The one that listens.
And
Which one is that?
That child knows.
Which
It's
one is
cyclical.
that?
Oh, they know. They know.
Oh, trust me, they know.
He says, you know who I like the best.
You know who you are.
Because the other 2 didn't even hear you say it because they weren't listening.
They were listening, exactly. That's a daughter. That's his daughter.
That's good. All right, Weeds, coming up next. Head to foulterritory.chat. Hang out with us. Host chats there, side chats for you to queue up your own topics and questions. Ken Rosenthal brought a few questions from ChatBCC onto his show today. Okay, we're back. Let's dive into a really strong article on Friday that might have gotten lost in all of the other headlines from the weekend in Major League Baseball. Dan Hayes covers the Twins for The Athletic, did some really good reporting and had some interesting quotes come out of this story on the Twins' recent series in Sacramento. The Twins lost their ace, Pablo López, to a shoulder injury for probably a couple months. And actually, since that article, Zebby Matthews, who also pitched in Sacramento, has gone down with a shoulder injury. Let's bring up the pitching side of things first. Joe Ryan went through a similar shoulder injury last year to what Pablo López is dealing with. And he said about Sacramento, the first thing I thought of was Zach Wheeler saying, I was all arm when I was pitching there. Does that play into that? And he said, I don't think Pablo is the kind of guy that's going to say the mound was the issue, but I'll say it. They said the mound was, I guess, firm, rock solid, which happened to be the case with the batter's box as well, which we'll get to. There are a ton of issues, of course, with playing in a minor league park that's also getting double dipped with a minor league team. Do you think there's anything to this? Zach Wheeler saying I'm all arm and then these shoulder injuries popping up?
I think there's something to the field not being up to major league standards because they're also, every time they go on the road, it's being used by the Giants AAA team. So it never gets a break and the ground screw doesn't get to fix it properly. So it's always in use. Mm-hmm. And is there something to it? If they say there's something to it, I don't know. I didn't pitch, but I would definitely think that there's something to it. And, you know, this isn't the first thing with this whole thing. Severino's talked about it. He pitches there. Visiting teams have talked about not being able to do their normal warm-up stuff. Hitters are having a hard time because they can't hit before they have to go pinch hit. So, listen, there's something to it. I don't know what, but if Joe Ryan says he thinks it is, then I'm going to go with him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know if you remember it, AJ, but Rogers Center, the whatever it's called now, or whatever it was called, the Sky Dome, the roof's open on a hot Sunday day game. That joint gets like concrete, and it breaks apart. What if you started and it was wet and you wore moldeds? I never had the issue because I had metals on, but guys that wear moldeds, you're going to slide around later in the game. Now think about it if you're out in Sacramento and that field is being used essentially 12 straight days because they do get off Mondays when Sacramento comes in town. It's just not going to get fixed the way it should be, the way it should be covered and stay wet and stay tacky.
You're talking about Toronto, right? Toronto, I remember Darren Ercet. Remember Darren Ercet? He was a pretty good player.
Mm-hmm.
He took a pitch in Toronto, and both feet went like this, and he went on the IL with a pulled groin. He literally just took a pitch, and it was so hard, and he had moldeds on, and both feet went, whoop, and he pulled his groin ice. And had to go there. Oh, it was unbelievable how brutal it was. We used to have guys fall all the time in Toronto. I was a molded guy, and you had to be. I mean, it was like that's the one park where you had to like dig in because it'd be like playing on this desk or like that slick concrete. Kratz, there were certain stadiums that had like that slick concrete, and you had to shuffle your feet because if you stepped on it, you might shoo, 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 shoo. It was like ice skating. That's what Toronto's home plate was like. And that's what I'm assuming Sacramento's is like.
That's totally. And that's a bigger thing than people, they don't understand. Like people are going to tell us, well, they need to suck it up. What's going to end up happening if enough pitchers or position players complain? Major League Baseball is going to step in and say, okay, well, we're going to help them and we're going to make sure. So they're just, Major League Baseball is just, covering. They're the helicopter parent for the A's right now until they get all this stuff figured out. Like this should be the standard. This is why it's in the CBA. There's a standard playing surface. You go and play in London. AJ, you know this. You go and play in London. You go play in Mexico. The field has to be up to a certain standard that Major League Baseball makes it up to. And yet, you know what? The A's, they have a plight of issues. So we're just going to whatever they want to do is fine.
Carlos Correa said it's the worst batter's box he's ever stepped in. He was overcompensating with his back not to slip, like many of his teammates were doing. And he eventually said, you know what? Sitting out the last 2 games of this series, I'm not sacrificing 2 months of a season for a couple of at-bats here. He's also well aware. I mean, he's had issues in the past. He said to test and confirm his hypothesis, he hit on flat ground in the indoor batting cages. He was like, I'm totally fine. So he was trying different things like borrowing spikes from Ryan Jeffers. And eventually he was just like, this is not major league quality. I don't want to get hurt.
Oh, well, guys used to go into Toronto when the turf was brutal in Toronto, and they'd come out of it. Oh, my back is wretched. I don't know how the Metrodome was. I mean, you were like 19 when you got called up to the big leagues, so I guess that's different. But there's different fields that have diminished.
Teams used to give guys time off in the Metrodome because we had the old crappy turf all the time. Now we were used to it, so we could get away with it because we played on it every day. But teams would come in with some veteran guys, and they couldn't play them all 3 games because they were like, backs, hamstrings. It was just a different thing.
Don't worry, we're getting close to that time period in Sacramento where it gets to like 110 degrees. So maybe the batter's box will be less firm when it melts to the ground.
Yeah. And also the field will only get better because I'm sure they'll be able to, keep up with the water and being played on every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be awful. It's going to be awful. Yep. That's it.
That's why we talk about it. Then hopefully someone listens and works on it. Coming up next, Ump Show. Nico Hoerner causing trouble? Quiet Nico? Let's hit some BetMGM locks. Todd Father back on the winning side of things on Friday. The rest of us fell. So I'll lead us off for today. I am up 385. AJ, you're right near the line.
Right there.
Down $36.
Right there.
Right there. So I'll lead us off today. First 5 innings, I'll take Marlins money line over the Pirates behind the season debut of Yuri Perez. You know he's making his return start. Yeah, 8 rehab starts, sub-2 ERA in that time period. It's pumping 99. I loved watching him when he was first coming up. It's been a minute, and he's back. So I think he'll deal for 5 innings. That's probably all they'll give him. And then the Pirates are coming off a nice little sweep of the Phillies. They'll come back down to earth a little bit. Marlins offense has been super quiet, so
it's not like the Pirates scored a lot of runs in that series against the Phillies.
No. That's the point.
Yeah.
So I think the Marlins give a little bit of a jump to Yuri Perez. It's minus 120. 120 to win a hundo on that one. Just switching it up a little bit. Who wants to go next?
Sorry, the Pirates, not the Marlins. Pirates didn't score a lot of runs against
Pirates.
Sorry, the poop series. I'll go. I'm going over 8.5 runs. Cleveland, Cincinnati, I believe it is. And then over 7.5 strikeouts for Chris Sale, which gives me a nice plus 2 something number.
238.
I was going to say 237. 238.
Nice.
Sorry.
Plus 238.
Yeah. I just feel like Chris Sale is going to deal against the Brewers. They strike out quite a bit, and the wind is blowing out in Cleveland.
Oh, you checked the weather, didn't you?
Well, maybe.
Mm-hmm. You should. It's important. Kratz, I think we have time. Go ahead.
All right. Zach Neto and Eugenio Suarez, each of them to get over 1.5 total total hits, runs, and RBIs. Each of them to get 2 or more. That's coming out at plus 190.
That is plus 190. There's someone who has all of us beat with their bet today in terms of odds, plus 260 for Pap, but we'll get to that after our Show segment in 30 seconds. It's the Show. We had a lot of people tagging us yesterday on a variety of platforms. Like, are you going to bring up this Nico Hoerner versus Doug Eddings situation? And here we are. He did say the magic word.
You. Don't say you. That's it, Nico. You can cuss him like a dog. You can cuss like a sailor at an umpire. Just don't say you.
Here's the pitch.
Okay, it's a ball.
It's a miss from Jack Flaherty, who had a best start of.
That's not Doug
season.
Eddings, by the way, behind the plate.
Not Doug Eddings.
Oh, so why was everyone tweeting Doug Eddings at me?
Doug Eddings had a rough go. He was calling some bad strikes. I think it was a game before.
Oh, a game before.
But listen, Doug Eddings is the GOAT of umpires, so I will never say a bad word about Doug. I love you, Doug. Well, that guy's got great hair.
Who is this guy?
I just get good hair, though. He's got perfectly coiffed hair.
He's a youth.
I don't know.
He's a young guy. I'm not 100% sure, but I think, what was Mark Burley's number? 56?
Yeah, that was Erik Cooper. Erik, rest in peace, Coop.
Yeah.
Umpired his perfect game and no-hitter.
And
behind the
his no-hitter.
Yeah, behind the play, 56, same game time. The whole thing was crazy.
That is crazy.
But I'll say this, Kratz, and you know this, Kratz. Don't say you to an umpire. You can call him any name you want to call him. You can say that's bleep, 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 bleep. Is Derek Thomas behind him. Great sack. He was great at getting sacks.
Chiefs.
For the Chiefs. God rest R.I.P. Derek Thomas.
Yeah.
Also, but you can't say you. Like you could say that's bleepity bleep or that call was bleepity bleep. But as soon as you say you, their ears perk up and you go bye-bye.
So I was getting messages even this morning when Fair Territory was running live and I was talking to people and they're like, going to bring it up. I was like, of course I'm going to bring it up. But I said, I'm just warning you. I think our guys are going to say the magic word was listed. And I think the comeback from people right now is why. Let's get Nico Hoerner post-game first.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's really that often you can verbatim say to the press afterwards, like, what got you thrown out? So I said, you're having a really bad day.
First word was
you.
You are. He just shortened it, so that also counts. You can't, and that he was. To me, that was too much of an overreaction. You're having a really bad day. Overreaction, yes. Just get thrown out? Come on.
You just can't. But see, what umpires think, what umpires about this for. If you say you, that makes it personal. If you say that or it or anything, you can say that. But as soon as you say you, it makes it personal. And they take that as a personal attack. And that's why you get thrown out.
And it's
but again, if he could have said, man, it's been a really bad day. Or even if you're like, umpires are having a bad day. But again, he said you.
What about you? Calls are brutal today.
Fine.
Really?
Fine. He would have given him a longer leash. You're having a bad day. That's a personal attack on the umpire. I'm just telling you how it works.
No, I'm well aware. I've been schooled.
Now listen, I've called umpires a lot of names in my life and gotten away with it. But it's every time, as soon as I've looked at him and said you.
That's the magic word. And the thing is, Kratz, it's a union. It's a fraternity. They all know, right? Every umpire knows before they probably ump their first major league game or maybe even their first minor league game. They've already learned from someone else that if someone says you boot them. Even if the general public disagrees with this ritual that they have in their frat, it is what it is.
But you can't question balls and strikes. And when you're questioning directly what they said, it's not gonna stand. And they've drawn their line in the sand there. It's not that tough to not say you. What's tough is when what he did to Counsell, he was like, I'm not going to listen to anything more. That's it. No more. I mean, come on. That's like you're telling a grown man he can't say anything else. As soon as an umpire says that, I don't know. My level goes from like 50 to 100 real quick when they tell me no, nothing else from you. Because your first reaction is nothing. I can't. Was that something? Did I? And then you're illegitimately talking. You're saying things that don't mean anything. And then you're just angry.
It gets petty.
Though.
Yeah. He was going to go. He was going to go.
As soon as he ran out there, he was going. So, yeah. But again, listen, it doesn't make it any less ridiculous, the fact that that's the way it is. But that's what the umpires are told, and that's what they're taught, and that's what you're told. As soon as you say you, just know you're probably going to get run, whether that's a smart thing or a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And also, Nico Hoerner with the little smirk, like he knew what he was doing. He knew exactly when he said what he said because he was like, you're having a bad day. And he gave like that little like, and then just waited for a response, you know?
Yes.
Okay, so he knew what he was doing by saying, he knew when he said that, he knew he was probably going to get run.
Nico's got dirt in his spikes.
Nico's not stupid.
No, he's a smart man. Whoa.
All my beautiful people of FT, what's up? It's your boy Parlay Pap coming to you live from Boston. I got the Tampa Bay series coming up today. But look here, let's worry about getting that cheese, okay? The Blue Jays today are playing St. Louis in St. Louis. It's going to be hot as hell. The ball's going to be flying out of the ballpark today, so I'm going with the over. And I'm also going to take the Blue Jays in the money line because it's minus 105, so it's basically even money. And we're going to parlay them together, so we're going to get plus 260, and we're going to lay 100 on it. And that's how we're going to get that cheese, people. And we're going to start this beautiful Monday off right. Let's get it.
Good shot of energy from Pap. Do you think that there was a kid walking by, and he's like, Mom, wait, stop. That's Parlay Pap doing his pick live on the street.
Oh, boy.
For the people.
Yo, I loved you. I loved you when you played for the Sox, Papu Band. Yo, you were the best. You and Pedroia, loved you guys.
That's good. That's good. So he's got plus 260 on Jays, Cardinals being high scoring, and the Blue Jays, who did not get any attention today, are playing some really ball right now. Hey, they keep this up. We're going to give them a segment.
Oh, yeah. They're playing really well right now. They're playing good.
No drama. No segment. Sorry.
I'd rather talk Blue Jays and Red Sox at this point because we can't beat a dead horse.
It's not a drama-only show. It's just that when drama occurs, we're one of the only shows that really can tackle it the way that you want.
Blue Jays and Rays, by the way, are both playing really well.
They are. They're both, I think, 4.5.
They're both 5 games over, 4.5 out of first. But
They're
in the wild card
picture.
Nice spot.
They are.
They're both wild card teams right now.
There's a lot of flipping going on right now. The Mariners were in control for a minute, and the Astros are coming in hot. They're getting very little pub. Shocker.
The Astros are ahead.
They're up by what? 2-3 games.
They're up 2.5.
Phew. All right, there's your locks.
Series.
That's right. BetMGM's giving you a chance to win a prize every day during baseball season. You can step into the batter's box for that swing for the fences free-to-play game. Visit the BetMGM app to access the game. Score a prize if you get a single, double, triple, or a homer. If you get an out, try again the next day. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's slap first off, and we're staying on for the YouTube crowd because we got a few things to hit. May Day is on later on the FT YouTube channel as well. So it'll go from FT to Dodgers territory to Baseball America Hot Sheet to May Day. Mondays are lit on the FT network. Trevor's crushing it. Oh, we have a split screen. This is a good way to go out for the TV crowd. We have a split screen of Trevor and his doppelganger. I think it's pretty good. Have you heard of this one? Marcelo Mayer.
100%.
No? AJ's looking...
No.
No?
No.
You don't see it?
No. Different hair. Different chin.
No.
Well, different
Just
hair.
face.
Smile. Maybe similarities in the nose area. I'm very picky about this.
Thick eyebrows. Similar eye color. Nose is pretty close.
Nose is the one thing, but it also could be the angle.
Sure. Man, you're like a Russian judge.
I am.
Oh. Hey, Hunter Dobbins looks like Adam LaRoche. Check it out.
And we're back. Can we do the Ryan Weathers tweet first from the weekend? We saw that one, you know, because I do a little weekend work with the FT social team, and I was like, anyone see this? Ryan Weathers, first inning, warm-ups, hit.
Heads up.
By the throw down to second. Pretty square on the top of the head, too. Like, geez, guys, like he's got a 2.5 ERA. Protect the merchandise. Have you ever seen that?
I've done it.
You've done it?
I did it. I did it in high school. Knocked the guy out. I had to go to the hospital. Dead on the
way.
mound. Yeah, Danny Garrido. I love you, Danny. I think you're in Barcelona right now, but I put it in my story. We were playing a game. It was a pickoff at second, and he didn't know the pickoff back pick was on. I threw it, and he stood there, and he hit it right here.
Oh.
And he went down on the mound, out. They had to bring like the cart and the ambulance. He had to go to the hospital, and then I got ejected out of that game later. It was against Winter Park.
Damn.
My senior year of high school, I ended up getting ejected out of that game later.
Wow.
Yep. But yeah, boop, right here. Out. Cold. On the mound. Out.
Whose fault is that one? The Weathers one?
That's just a bad – well, first of all, you're supposed to duck. But second of all, that's a bad throw by the catcher. That's Yankeed.
Yeah.
Because you don't ever throw it – you don't throw it as hard as you can in between innings. You're just kind of just throwing it down there. But, I mean, that wasn't very good.
Mm-mm.
I'm surprised I never hit anybody on a back pick because I liked back picking, and I would do more of like a delay back pick from my knees. And I also chucked it back to the mound decently hard. And some pitchers would get – because you want to throw it right through their head when you're throwing down to second on that back pick because that ball carry through. In between innings, that should never happen. That should never happen. I saw Paul Hoover hit Nate Bump, two old school names. Nate Bump, I mean, lower back, right in a tramp stamp, and just dropped him. Just he made this like noise as he was going down.
Yeah.
Maybe the Marlins will not let their catchers throw down anymore in the minor leagues.
They might put screens in front of the pitchers. They might run a screen out there between innings. Boom. Okay, hit the screen. Now we'll move the screen.
They're very innovative.
And then they'll fake the tag. They'll fake the tag like it was gonna be there. It'll be neat. It'll be so neat.
Speaking of neat, this was my favorite part of the weekend. Pepe strolling out for his first pitch.
This is pretty awesome.
That penguin is so freaking cute. Even if you don't like, I don't know, little animals, that's a cute little penguin.
Pretty awesome right there.
That was super cool. If you're listening to the pod, check it out on the show.
PP
We're live
the
every
penguin.
day, by the way, 1 o'clock Eastern.
The White Sox are doing it. Woo-wee!